Baby girl, you been the shit, yeah, yeah. So then test what the business is, yeah, yeah. I've been feeling you like since a chick, yeah, yeah. Didn't even fit a little bit, yeah, yeah. Going up from here, I turn you on, bad, bad. We go back just like the Renaissance, bad, bad. No, taking chances, so don't take this wrong, bad, bad. Triple to the kind of high, I'm on that tossing. I hear them talking and checking pockets, my wallet. The crackles and girl, I know that the topic. Getting tipsy, we getting litty. You miss me, gotta kiss me, I'm on a chimney. Cracking, how you want me, been talking to you on the fast time. You facing blunts and I fix the facts with my niggas. I'm rolling with you, the way too tall for that small talk. I'm tryna get you, I'm tryna get you. Claro, everything claro. I ain't Spanish, but my shorty is metal. She a bad bitch, don't play no Sega. No games on a nigga, not now, not little. Everything claro, everything claro. 5'10", no heels, she a model. Shorty ice cold, no glass, no pleasure. She the whole shot, no glass, no treasure. Quick trips with the team out to LA. I got saying you ain't switch up on me. Always see you in my dreams, it's an old man. Always thinking about me, not her old man. Shawty been down to ride, never report. These niggas can't run game, see the cheat code. Never yanking my chat, ain't no depot. I want you every day, ain't no veto. Backing, don't be faking. It ain't been long, I know you love me, so go and say it. Every night up on the phone now, we alone now. Throwing up for a minute, it's about to go down, it's about to go down. Music, it's just music, but girl, I know right when you hear this, you gon' lose it. You earned your structures like Adidas, Mama Cito. If this the 90s, you a beeper. I'm tryna reach you, I'm tryna reach you. Claro, everything claro. I ain't Spanish, but my shorty is metal. She a bad bitch, don't play no Sega. No games on a nigga, not now, not little. Everything claro, everything claro. 5'10", no heels, she a model. Shorty ice cold, no glass, no pleasure. She the whole shot, no glass, no chaser. No glass, no say it, how you want it. I do this world like we on Pluto, but not Plutonic. But I ain't like these other niggas, I know you see it. Cause yeah, I'ma call you when I want you, but that don't mean I need it. Girl, I hope everything claro, everything claro. 5'10", no heels, she a model. Shawty ice cold, no glass, no pleasure. She the whole shot, no glass, no chaser. No glass, no chaser.
I wish I could sing. Y'all, that was Will Wildfire. You should know him already. He was on 7 Summers. My favorite artist out there in Cali doing his thing. That's a point for Carolina. You are watching episode 54. Politics as usual. We are a network of independent creators creating in real-time content, and we documenting our lives for the world. A big part of our life is politics. Voting season is upon us. We had to go fetch someone we know. We can't trust everybody. So now we are sitting here with the one and only, matter of fact, the legend, the infamous, I like to call him Senator. He said don't call him that. Hey, Kenneth McCLary. And I also have my special guest, Shifty Rogers, and KK on the line. I said, yo.
That nigga called us guest, KK.
I didn't call y'all co-host. I said guest.
You said guest, my special guest.
Well, you guys did arrive late. I said, yo.
We don't talk time no more. We stopped talking time, man.
Oh, we stopped talking time when you come late?
We gonna get
the senators. Hey, listen, Councilman.
We gonna get his take on time. That's what we're gonna do. That's all we're gonna do.
Councilman is here. We will not show family business in front of
Look, I thought I was family. I don't know,
I don't know what's wrong with him. You see the shots he throwing tonight?
We grew up together, man.
I don't know what's wrong with him.
Grew up playing basketball in the gym and on the football field.
He got his gunshots queued tonight, man.
Going to Bono. Come on, man. We been there, man. Walking down dirt road.
Kenny, you right, man. It's me. I'm tripping. You know, Kenny, they said I went Hollywood because I be at Planet Fitness. I got 20 screens, you know. Hey, there's something else you don't know since the dirt road days. I drink green juices from Juiceland. Hey, and I shop at Whole Foods sometimes.
Okay,
I just want to let you. I just want
give me the Stop and Shop. Give me the the Giant. Give me the. I don't even do Walmart. I'll tell you a story about that, but I try not to do Walmart.
Whoa, hold on, yo.
Don't disrespect Walmart.
There. Yeah, don't do that. Don't see.
Listen, see, people move to Connecticut. See what happened when they moved to Connecticut?
Wait, y'all buying y'all groceries at Walmart? What is wrong with that?
Yeah, well, I don't. I
don't either.
I'll tell you why, right? Because when you look at their workers, they don't pay them a livable wage, right? So they're working 2 to 3 jobs. Walmart is a $1 billion company, and they can't pay their workers $15 at minimum, so they can take care of their kids and afford housing. So until you want to pay your workers $15 an hour and give them good, decent health care, where they don't have to rely on the government to go and get. And I'm not saying that the government, these programs are bad because I'm on it, but I was on it and my family grew up on it. But I just wholeheartedly believe that they should pay their workers $15 or more.
I agree, because it doesn't make sense for you to have a full-time job.
And to be honest, I didn't know what they was getting paid.
It doesn't make sense to have a full-time job that you can't even afford to pay your bills, and you work 40 hours or more a week.
Yeah. Well, what they do, right, is they when Obamacare kicked in, and it said that if you work 40 hours a week, you got to give essentially mandate healthcare. What they did was their employees to 38.9 hours or 39.2 hours, so they didn't hit the 40. Yes, they did. Go look it up, man. Research it.
That's some street.
They changed the way in which they gave folks, made them part-time. Or made some of them independent contractors, so they didn't have to give them health care. So that's why I choose not to spend my dollar there. But if you want to spend your dollar there, go for it.
So where you shop at? Where you say you shop at again?
So there's stores in Connecticut called what you call it's one that's associated with IGA. I know you heard of IGA Utahville.
Yeah.
And Stop and Shop. Which is a store. Their employees are a part of collective bargaining, which is a union. So they fight for a good livable wage, good health care, and good retirement benefits. And so I want to make sure that I support them. And I don't know if you took a look at my Instagram, but you would see me out there with the workers of Stop and Shop when they were striking, when they were protesting. Stop and Shop for increase and better wages and to keep their healthcare in the way in which it was. And so, I try to support unionized employees because those unionized employees and the union helped me get where I was today, right? Because my grandmother was in a union and she was able to work as a custodian at the Empire State Building and other organizations, and then retire and live what we call the so-called American dream. She built her house. She was able to purchase land, and she was able to create a better opportunity for me and my cousins. And so I want to be able to do the same thing for other families and other generations. So that's why I choose not to go shop at Walmart.
So
you put your money where your mouth is, literally.
Yeah, literally.
Absolutely.
Y'all do not ask the senator any other questions about where he put his mouth. We are not doing that until 9. No. Now. Until 9 o'clock.
We do not want to know what the senator does. No, we don't.
Look, I'm happily in a relationship with my significant other, Shani, and we have 2 girls. So
that's a point for black love, man. They don't believe. They say, listen, that's a point for black love, man.
Black men don't cheat.
Thank you, Julz. Stay preaching that black men don't cheat.
We never cheated. It was a long.
Thank you.
It was a couple of bad seeds. It was a couple of bad seeds. That's what it was.
Black men, look at KK. She don't like that. She don't never respond to that.
It's a conspiracy theory put out there to break up the black family.
KK.
KK playback was sounding good, right? KK was
playback sounds great.
Awesome. So now let's get into it. We don't have too much time.
We done ramble. Let's get into the story, man.
All right. So now voting season is upon us, Mr. McCLARY. And I'm just being formal because whenever somebody's professional, it comes out of me, man. I'm sorry, man.
Look, I'm not professional. You see my shirt, Black Wall Street? Come on, you can tell I got a little bit of radical in me.
That's professional. But, I think that's the narrative.
You think
professional?
Yeah, well, yeah, that is professional, but it's political. It's not political correctness. Let me put it like that.
You know what I was thinking about today? I said, okay. you have a good background. Like you were an all-American person in school. I didn't see you in ISS a lot. You know?
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I was always in ISS. Ask Dot Washington, man. Ask him.
Yo, we can't talk about Dot. Yo, Dot don't know. No, I don't. Yeah, we can't.
Look, I was always Mr. Span. Mr. Span sent me to ISS. Miss Touchberry sent me to ISS.
Miss Touchberry hated my guts.
Would get you sent to ISS.
So what type of stuff got me sent to ISS? Just talking back, yo, like questioning, right? Like you tell me I have to have a plan of why. You
that's everybody follow me.
Oh, now I remember.
Everybody
that was him.
Cross.
Yo, that was you. You was that type.
So you act. Yeah. So you ask questions like, well, you would need a hall pass. Why? Like we're a small school, 160 people. I'm not running away. Like, why do I need a pass to go to the bathroom? Right? It was just like you just questioning things, and like I have to realize that coming from New York, right, questioning things in the South, it was a big cultural shock. As them seeing it as things as when you ask questions and inquire as disrespect.
Yeah, like,
and it was it was like that. Those things sent me to ISS. I wasn't a bad student. I was very smart. I just really didn't apply myself because as a young kid, you just. You're mischievous and you're having fun with your colleagues.
Julz, how much days you been at ISS?
Boy, you better ask me how many days I went to regular class.
I'm an ISS All-American.
I've been to ISS. I've been to ISS like
look, I think I'm in the Hall of Fame.
Yo, I watch so much CNN. Them 8 hours, boy. I don't even watch CNN anymore. Boy, Dot scarred me. That's on. Listen, the crazy part, it was like a little 14-inch TV.
What? Oh, we had nothing.
She had nothing. And she had it. She had it 50 degrees in there. If you ain't had a hoodie, you was frozen.
We didn't have anything. We had just don't talk, don't say, don't look back, don't look to the side, look straight.
Oh yeah. You ain't doing no talking, none of that.
Mr. Johnson came and picked you up. You did detail cleaning the gym. If it was a basketball gym,
that shit was jail for.
With the little stick, with the nail at the end of it, you went back.
They were programming us to get ready for jail. They think they slick. They were programming us to what it was like to be on a chain gang.
They trying to make you. The
school of prison pipeline. The school of prison pipeline.
Absolutely.
About that, but we have any of that, man. She was just you pick your lunch up, you walk like this with your tray, you don't look, you don't talk to nobody in the hallway.
No, she was still on that too. She was strict like that, but we had no CNN. 14 years.
We ain't have no TV. Where was your ISS located? Ours was in a multi-purpose room, and then they moved it to the old band room.
Yeah, then they moved it to the old band room. Where the boat was, that's where our shit was at. That's where I was at.
And then after the old band room, they moved it to where Coach Rab had the masonry, because they got rid of masonry, and so they put us in the masonry room.
We was over there, and then after that they moved us. This shit probably after y'all. It was by the bus transportation right by the football field.
Oh man, that's the old band room, right?
Okay, they moved us right there then. And shit. That's when it got a little sweeter.
So now let's get into a real topic, because a lot of our ramblers are interested in this voting thing. Some people don't believe in voting at all, Julz Jones. And then some people...
I don't believe in it either.
Oh, so we might need you to explain why voting is important to start off with. Let's start this.
So it basically determines who gets what, when, and how, right? And so your cynicism is what the two-party system banks on, right? Because it's your way of holding people accountable, right? And so I always tell folks, if you don't like what's going on in your community, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 people, those 60, 70, 80, 90 people, they know 60, 70, 80, 90 people. Think about it as a corporation. Think about it as a corporation, right? The voters are the CEO and the board of trustees, right? We're the board of trustees. The community is the board of trustees, or the overseers of how we want our community to look. And if the person ain't doing the job, what's going to happen if you show up to your job every single day and you don't do your job? They're going to fire you, right? And so your voting is your ability to fire the person who represent you. If your streets aren't being paved, if your streets are not being cleaned up, your trash is not being taken care of, you don't have good community parks, your home values aren't moving up, businesses and jobs aren't coming into your community, and the elected officials that you sent to Berkeley County or to the State House in Columbia to vote for you aren't doing with you. I think you still have Caldwell Pinckney Jr. And I don't follow the politics in Cross as much as I used to, but he's still your representative. And how has Cross changed? And this is not an indictment on him, but how is?
Because listen, Cross came up, boy. We many times. When the last time you been to Cross?
Well, maybe 4 years ago, but 4 or 5 years ago.
Oh no, 4 or 5 years. That's.
Cross
Yeah.
like
but keep in mind, he's not just talking about who
I'm not talking about
is there a new Walmart. He's talking about policy.
I'm talking about policy wise. I'm talking about when you look at Black minority contractors and the ability of entrepreneurship. When you're looking at set asides, like you guys have Volvo come in and moved into 176, and when you look at that, they got tax abatements from the state, right? And so. Excuse me. When you got tax abatements, the question is how many of those contractors were from African American communities, right? Did Paul Wilson, be able to have the opportunity to bid on doing work like that? Because you look at Mr. Wilson, what is he going to do? He's going to hire folks from the local community, and those dollars are going to be regenerated into your community. So voting is very, very important. It determines what you get, and if you don't participate, you don't get nothing. Your group and your interests aren't met. And so you can sit here and we can sit here every single day and we can talk about, not voting and not believing in it, but then you can't expect anything to change.
Let me say like this. I don't not wholeheartedly not believe in voting. If I'm voting for, like, say it's you or somebody else running, and I understand it, but it's kind of, you know what I'm saying? You got to understand where the person coming from, first of all. You gotta see that.
Yeah. So for example, I mentioned earlier, you have Jamie Harrison, and you have running for for United States Senate in South Carolina. He's going against Lindsey Graham, who's been their Republican stark supporter of Donald Trump. And Jamie has worked in the House when Barack Obama was an elected official. He has done some great things as a staffer on Capitol Hill. He was the state party's chair for the Democrats. He's expanded the bench for younger people to get involved in South Carolina, and he's running for state senate. And I think he's a great candidate. Then you want to go to the local level. You got Yvonne Bradley, local from Cross, running for a school board down there in South Carolina, and Cross, representing where Miss Wilhelmina Moore used to represent in that seat, and not senator, and Mr. Spann, Kelly Spann, remember, math teacher?
Mr. Spann was doing some important things in the community.
Yeah, Mr. Spann was on city council on the board of ed, and Mr. Spann also ran for state senate.
He also wrote me up a bunch of times.
Oh, he wrote me up too. Following people got their church offenses talking, and then it took him 5 minutes.
Y'all say Mr. Spann?
Yeah.
So
he ran. So you
wanted to say, yo.
So you have community-minded people who are running, and so these people, right? You went to high school with some of their kids, right? They're focused on community. And so what I would say is just, basically educate yourself on who's running, and then maybe that cynicism that you have about voting will cease, because you do have some great people out there running for political office. But the second part to it is not just voting. The second part of it is just holding them accountable. I can remember here being on city council in Bloomfield, Connecticut, and I had the third highest votes in 2017. And the people who I went to represent, that sent me to City Hall to represent them, never came to City Council. So I would say, you know what, we're going to put a home program remodeling, because you have deferred maintenance on your home and you don't have disposable income. And so what I'm going to do is find a way to find money to give you grant monies so you can upgrade your home, so your home value can go up, so you can then take that money and home equity and send your kids to college, do the things that you want to do, and create generational wealth for the next generation. But you don't show up. I have 95% of the audience is white Caucasian people, and they're coming and they're advocating for their need. Because the reason why that is because half of the time, most of them are retired. They're more engaged in the political process because it determines who gets what, when, and how. If you look at our communities, let's take a step back. If you look at like any urban center, right? And the urban center is classified as New York City, Hartford, Connecticut. You could talk about in South Carolina, let's say you would consider like Charleston, North Charleston, like an urban center, right? When you look at our neighborhoods where the population of African Americans historically live, it was in urban centers, right? And when you look at urban centers, high rate of crime, high rate of kids not reading on grade level, poor schools, just what you call the hood. But when you look at suburban communities, right, the suburbs, when you look at Somerville, and I want to make this local, right, and I want to preference that I haven't been in South Carolina for a long time, so I'm just going only off the view in which I remember, right? When you look at Mounts Corner, when you look at Goose Creek, Somerville, Charleston, Kiowa Island, you look at those communities, and those communities are affluent. When you look at, let's take a look at Berkeley. They had Spanish 1 and 2 in 6th grade, 7th grade. They had, economics and geography, and it took us till we got to 10th, 11th grade to do that because those people showed up to city council, right? They had good updated schools. When you look at, I remember going to school in Cross, and we had, open ceilings, and the heat didn't work. And I remember Sinead Brown saying, if the heat don't work, we ain't going to class. Calling live.
Sinead Brown, wow, yo.
Yeah,
that's a point for Sinead.
Yeah, that's a point for Sinead, yo. Sinead Brown, wow, yo.
And so the advocacy, right? The advocacy for us came as young kids in high school, and so our parents didn't have the ability to show up to a 6 or 7 o'clock evening city council meeting because they were so busy either working or trying to take care of the home, right? And they didn't have transportation to go to these local meetings because they didn't have disposable income to do that. And so it's very important that when you're able to have the opportunity to vote, that you are not just voting for yourself, you're voting for the next generation of people to improve your community in which you live. And so if any of your listeners are out there, young people, they are betting on us not to get out there and vote. I applaud you to go out and vote. Educate yourself on what's going on, and vote. Like, that's the only say-so that you have. You don't have any other say-so but the power of your vote.
Okay, now
you going to vote, Julz?
Well, this is where I was gonna get at. I wanted to get at this. I want to ask you. There's a lot of people who saw the presidential election of Trump, and the popular vote was for Hillary. Am I correct on that?
Yep, you were correct.
So now what we have is a situation where the Electoral College actually elected the president instead of the people. Am I correct on that?
That's true.
Okay, so with that being said, now add that with what a black man knows, which is things like redlining is the reason we all live in one urban area throughout different cities. Okay?
Yep.
Then you got COINTELPRO when we tried to be independent for ourselves and feed our own communities. And that led to the assassinations of many of our vocal leaders. Right?
Yep.
So over time, I think the average black person, or just myself and Shifty Rogers, feels that participating in their system, even if it's just a vote, is empowering the same system who didn't want us to vote in the first place. So now, how did it become so important to vote? I was just 3/5 a man.
So it became important to vote when they gave us full rights to vote. When you had to
somebody
1964 vote. Well, yeah, because come on.
I thought that was our say so.
Yeah.
Well, no, that would.
So gave us.
Hold on, let me finish. Can I finish?
No, get your shit off. Get off.
All right. So when you had the voting rights of 1964, 65, Lyndon B. Johnson, when King and the Civil Rights Movement, when they were fighting for equal rights, the Voting Rights Act, they have something called poll tax, where you have to go in and do taxes, and candy gumballs was in the machine in order to register to vote and to have the right to vote. And so our leaders, like it's King and John Lewis and folks like that, went out and marched in the streets. And, they said, you know what? We want equal rights. We want integration. We want the ability to vote. We want Fair Housing Act, right? Because, you talk about redlining, where banks wouldn't give African-Americans the ability to get loans in certain neighborhoods, right? They would say, oh, you have to stay away from Mounts Corner. You have to stay away from Goose Creek. But, you could go to Cross, or, you could go to Utahville, or you could go to Santee, or, you could go to Orangeburg. Right. And so it's important to vote. Right, I get the cynicism on the presidential election. Politics is local, right? And so yeah, we're all voting for the presidency, and it's important to vote for the presidency, but it's more, I advocate for people more to vote more in local elections because they determine what your community looks like, right? Congress and the presidency is just a larger thing. It matters, but I would tell you to get more involved in your local elections.
I respect that, and I appreciate you for differentiating the two for me. So basically you're saying don't group it all into one.
Don't group it into one
layers. Okay.
So let me make it a little bit more simple, right? So Congress and the presidency, right? The president advocates a budget and say, okay, we want to put $5 billion into education. Congress pass it, then Congress sends that money and block grants to states. And then it's up to your state representatives, your state senators, and your local folks to determine where who gets it, right? And so it's very important that if you got $500 million coming back to South Carolina, and you have, let's say, 32 counties, right, or 100 for Connecticut State, you have 167 municipalities. How are that $500 million going to be divided up, right? So you need people on the state level to say, you know what, I'm a fight for my area because I know that I have kids who are, below the federal poverty line, who is not reading on grade level, whose schools is the schools is terrible. There's no running good water. There's lead. There's no good textbooks. They were still reading textbooks from 1999 and the world has changed, right? You need to make sure that you vote those people in. And then on the state level, they send it down to the city, and the city says, okay, we're going to determine what neighborhoods and what schools is going to get what, right? Because now we have the Board of Education, right? And so, right, when you vote those people in, they determine what your neighborhood is going to look like. So that's how it works out. It's like a top-down effect.
And if they're always getting votes from, let's say, the more affluent suburban neighborhoods, that's where they're going to put the money to, because they're going to be like, oh, well, y'all voted me in. Let me look out for y'all because y'all looked out for me.
Yeah, and if you stayed home, Drew, you're not a voter. They're going to look you up. And I should say this. There's times where people came to city council meetings. I wrote their names down, and then I went and looked up at the list and see if they were a Democrat or Republican, or if they were even registered. And if they wasn't, it's like, why waste my time on them? Because they don't even participate in the and it's wrong to say, but that's how some elected officials look at it, right? Like they say, oh, we represent everybody, but the truth of the matter is they're going to represent your block. And I guarantee you, if you all, Julz and Stefan, if you guys, you know at least 150 people in girls. Let's look at Berkeley County. You know at least 500 people in Berkeley County.
True.
In our area, at least 500. Mm-hmm. You know what those? If you organize those 500 people, you know what you'll get? You'll get an elected official to call your phone and say, Stefan, what is it that you need? What do you want? Because you have a voting block that can swing an election, and that those people are only going to listen to you.
Okay.
And you're going to change the election. And I know it sounds so simple, but that's how we have to look at it. It's not simple, right? So when black folks, right, and this is our problem, right? Black folks always complain about what we don't have, but we do not use our voice and vote as transactional. White folks, they're transactional with their vote.
Oh, they know I got to vote, and you're going to give me something for the vote.
We do it off emotions. Oh, I love Barack, and I'm not saying I don't love. I love Barack Obama. Oh, this person is just a great hope and opportunity. But it's like, what are we getting for our vote?
Black people
we didn't get nothing. We just got the benefit of saying we had a black president.
Black people had to vote for Trump, right?
Only 3% of African Americans voted for Trump. That's not when you're.
So you put me and Julz in there, and you add how much? What's the percentage of people that don't vote?
But we're not talking.
But you gotta remember,
it just depends on what election you're talking about.
But there, you gotta think. Y'all keep thinking presidential. It's so much bigger. Like, we need to be voting for the judges in our city.
Okay. I heard that before. Honestly, I'm saying, but what's the percentage of people that don't vote? Like, if y'all can just give me any number you thought, what's the percentage of people that don't vote? Because me and Julz in it. But I voted last year, Julz. I voted last year though. I ain't even gonna bullshit for. Yeah, I voted last year though. I think that was last year.
All right. Look, let's say I want to follow the senator clear, and I'm saying the senator just jokingly because I'm speaking it to fruition, but I want to say this, Kenny. Listen to me. I am more, Jay-Z than Obama. If you get what I'm saying, right? Like, I'm more Young Jeezy than Barack Obama. Does that make sense? Are you following me?
I say this to my people. entertainers aren't going to save us, right? They're black elites. They're black elites, and they're not going to save us, and right? And capitalism isn't going to save us either,
That's
right?
what I was thinking, but I was thinking
Jeezy
like
told his son
the
go to college.
representative.
He told us shoot people.
But I want to go back to what KK is saying. I want you guys to really understand what I'm saying. Yeah, I know you have a gripe with the presidential election. I want to go back to
even at the local election.
Yeah, let's go to the local level.
Let's go to the local. Let's go to the local election. I just mentioned. I just mentioned something to you all.
Built for somebody like you to win in a local election and then start making changes.
It is.
Give me an example of somebody who got elected and changed their city or town from us.
Somebody who got elected and they did what?
And they changed the dynamics of their city or town, and they look like us.
I'll tell you, I'm a part of an organization called Young Elected Official Network. Okay. You got Brandon Scott in Baltimore. You got a number of people all across the Michael Tubbs in Stockton, California. You got the black mayor of Compton. You got a number of people. You had West Bellamy in Charlottesville when all of this stuff came about with the KKK marching in Charlottesville. West Bellamy, South Carolina State University graduate from Georgetown. Lived in Charlottesville. You got young black elected officials all across the country working very hard. You got Stephanie, what's Stephanie's last name? She's the district attorney and out in Virginia Beach, Norfolk area, working, arresting cops who are killing black and brown people out there. You got black and brown elected officials doing the work, but we just need more people like yourself and Stefan showing up to these city councils, organizing, supporting us, because we're tired, yo. We're tired, and when we don't see people showing up, and I do so many meetings like this where I have young black folks complaining about not voting because the system is not made for us. Yeah. The system is made for us. We just got to play by their rules.
Y'all need a dog cookout and put some good music on. We coming through.
We shouldn't have to. We shouldn't have to do that because
that's how we do things. We don't listen. I don't even go to church because church boring, bro.
That shit piss KK off just now. That shit piss KK off just now.
You shouldn't need a barbecue to give a fuck about your life. I'm sorry.
Hold up.
KK, I agree with you.
Oh, we about to go.
I agree with you.
We about to go.
And just to answer your question, Shifty, Americans have not voted. So if we include the entire population, the voting population has not been over 65% in over 100 years. So basically, there's literally about 40% of Americans or more every year that do not vote at all.
1% got all the money, and y'all talking about voting. You know,
because you don't show up.
No. Because you don't show up. It doesn't matter that 1% has money, but you know what percentage is always getting locked up. You know what percentage is always having a battle in the courtroom with white judges. You know what percentage of people always have to battle with these white people for our rights. You know why our schools have hand-me-down books? That's because we don't have people advocating for our students. We don't have judges. We don't have judges that understand us, that can see, hey, this is a young black man.
Did you know what you got to do to be a black judge? Wait, time out. Okay, KK. Hold on, let me give you gunshots, KK.
You better listen to black women. You better listen to black women when they talk.
I tell them they don't.
You better listen to black women when they talk. You see, I shut my mouth. You better listen to black women when they talk, because guess what? Black women are gonna save us. Black women are gonna save us.
Let me speak for the streets.
Go ahead, get on.
Okay. Listen.
Okay, champ, let's go.
All right, yeah, we disproportionate going to jail and all of that good stuff. Now you think we disproportionate in going to jail and getting locked up and seeing these white judges. But
go get on.
But I want to know. I'm gonna give you an example. If somebody has a house and they have food at their table and they invite you over, they might let you eat, but you can't have the house. So what I'm trying to tell you, this system.
But you asked them how they got the house, and then you figure out the rules and you organize.
Okay, Kenny, I'm glad you said that. And then you go get your own house. Because listen,
hold on, Jules, let me finish. Hold on,
they didn't vote. They didn't vote to get their stuff now. They fought for their stuff.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. But
you're conflating two different things. You're conflating two different.
The American Revolution was a vote?
Bro, you're conflating two different issues. You're conflating two different things. If you want to say there should be a war, there should be okay.
Yeah.
But you're conflating two different things.
I'm going more towards the war side than voting. But I see what you mean. Listen. I'm speaking for the streets. This is real talk. I'm not trying to. There's no wrong or right. We're discussing this. So all I want to say.
So are we shifting to the American military complex and
ain't no way Julz went from politics to military.
I want to be clear about what we're talking about.
All right.
Yeah, what are we talking about?
You mentioned we need black judges. Listen, to be a black judge, okay? A black judge. I'm not a black judge. I don't have no black judge friends. But I would guess that to be a black judge, you would have to rub elbows with the white elite that's gonna put you in there.
No, not that. I don't think necessarily.
Not necessarily. No. Drew, can I? So all right, let me explain. So in certain jurisdictions, you have certain judges, particularly in North Carolina and in South Carolina, that are appointed and elected judges.
Okay.
And so if you think about Judge Wright and Judge Gillings, they are called magistrate judges in the state of South Carolina. And magistrate judges don't necessarily have to have law degrees. They just need to be appointed. And so if you go, I don't want to curse, but if you go vote for elected people and you organize, you can get people appointed to these positions. But if you don't vote in your statewide election, if you don't vote in your local elections, you don't have control of who's the solicitor. You don't have control of who's the sheriffs. You don't have the control of who's the African Americans. And so when you see instances like Breonna Taylor and George Floyd and Oscar Grant and Trayvon Martin and all these other black and brown folks who have been killed at the hands of white supremacists and homegrown terrorists and bad police officers, you can't say nothing. You can be out in the streets marching and saying, Black Lives Matter. But Black Lives matter, but Black lives need to get their asses to the damn polls and goddamn vote and organize their communities to make sure that these people who are elected officials are held accountable. Look at fucking Daniel Cameron and goddamn
I was
Kentucky.
gonna bring him up. Thank you. Thank you for bringing him up.
He didn't even motherfucking bring up Breonna Taylor's name at the grand jury not one goddamn time.
But had Kentuckians voted correctly and not for him, not for the Republican, because he's a Republican, but had the Kentuckians shown out and they voted for the attorney general they wanted, that case would have went completely different.
Absolutely. And we have white allies that support us, but we just don't get out and vote because we have this cynicism that the fucking system.
It's not a cynicism. It's a rationalization.
No, let me finish. That this system doesn't work for us. If the motherfucking system don't work for you, if your lights aren't working for you and it's giving you a headache, what you gonna go do? You're gonna change it.
No, I'm
gonna
gonna go get my own light.
If this hold on, so Julz, let me give you an example.
Julz just want to argue. He don't even have a point.
Listen.
He don't even have a point.
So Julz, let me
Are
give you
we on CNN? Are we on CNN or black owned network right now?
No, we are on a black owned network. But the whole point is. But the thing is, we're trying to elevate our people. We have to have real discussions like this.
This is not a real discussion.
In order to do that.
This is a real discussion.
This is a them crackers ain't gonna let you do a damn thing. I'm gonna tell you the truth.
That's not true.
So them crackers ain't gonna let you do a damn.
So Julz, let me tell you how you're wrong.
You better get it for yourself. Hey, you better do it in your own community. Don't go to the courthouse and think them boys finna change something, bro. Word. The boys still got the 13th Amendment. They ain't amend nothing.
Relax.
Y'all not listen, bro. I took political science. You heard? Hey, guess what? Where I took it at, the institution I took political science had a slave cabin on the premises. Like
so
this is what we live in.
You should have organized.
Burn that motherfucker. I'm from the streets, man. I ain't finna organize. They didn't vote to take them statues down. They didn't vote to take them statues down. They ripped them shits down, bro. That's what revolution is. Like, voting is cool once everything is civilized, but things ain't civilized right now. We the only ones getting killed. So how we gonna go to them and they giving us speeches and we like, we gonna vote for the black guy? Like, what does that matter?
No, I'm not.
So what's the alternative? No. Wait, let's ask him. So what's the alternative?
The alternative is black people mind our business and get to our business. Let them boy have their system, bro.
Wait. I have a question though. So when you say mind our business, what does that mean?
Meaning like instead of the police locking up the rapist and the dope dealer, you know what I'm saying? You do something about it. Like have your own court appointed in the streets. The streets already got a justice system, believe it or not, KK. You know what I'm saying?
No, okay, but that's just the justice system. What about schools? So how are we supposed to make sure that our teachers are making more money? and that we're getting supplies to the schools.
How are we supposed to make sure the teachers is making more money? I don't know.
Yeah, how do we make sure our teachers are not underpaid?
When she not working, when she not
school teaching, come on, Julz. If you're not trying to have a real conversation, then just say that.
Listen, all right. So how do you get a budget, right? How you get a budget? So you gotta propose a tax, right? So now, if all of us in Cross and Eadytown and St. Stephen pitch in, let's say $20 a month every.
But if you're not getting paid a livable wage because policies are in the books to ensure that you don't give a livable wage, you don't have any money to pitch in because you're living check to check. And then
no. Let's say we're going with Julz's theory, right? Okay, so you're right. Everybody takes $20. But who's in charge of the $20 a month?
Yep.
Who we put in charge? Don't we have to vote for someone?
Slump. My boy Slump is in charge of the shit right now. I'm trying to tell you.
What if I don't like Slump? What if I think I should do it?
You don't like Slump, but you like Biden in these motherfuckers. I don't get it.
You never heard me say that. You never heard me endorse him.
I trust Slump. I don't trust.
You trust him. You trust.
I don't know
somebody
Slump.
down the street. Somebody else might want someone else.
What I'm saying is, I trust somebody that come from my neighborhood. If I ain't see who you about, like I trust Kenny. If Kenny's running, I trust that. But listen, most blacks, and this is what y'all not gonna say.
But you're not gonna vote for him because he's in the white. He's doing it through the American justice system.
I'm doing it through the American system.
So you're not gonna vote for him.
I would.
You're not gonna vote for him because he's not in your system.
I would.
Yeah,
I just don't think.
I agree.
I just don't think it's that. I would vote for him just because I'm a real one. Like it doesn't cost me nothing to go vote. But
so you got. I just named two people. So I just. You just heard what you said. You came back to the point and which we were saying.
So we agree.
And if you just
vote, just to vote. But then when you want to see real action,
vote for people.
You don't vote.
You educate yourself on the candidates that are running and that are seeking your vote, and you vote for the best person who's going to articulate your views and your pocketbook issues through policy.
What if your views ain't the popular? Like, what if? All right, you vote, but then
Julz, you know what you do? Julz, do you know what you do?
You get you a candidate.
You find you a candidate, or you go to your local county election board of election, and you sign the goddamn paperwork, and you run for office. That's what you do.
Y'all want to see Julz run for office? Y'all want to see change in this motherfucker?
That's what you do. That's exactly what you do. Because when I wasn't happy, hold on, let me tell you how I got into politics. So when I wasn't happy, and it started at the Cross Community Center with Yvonne Bradley, with Ken D, Stephen D's dad, with all of my grandmother and a bunch of community members trying to get roads paved, trying to get dirt roads paved and cross, trying to get the new health center.
Okay, good example. Go ahead.
Cross Community Health Center, trying to get good schools for us, trying to make sure that we had the opportunities that other kids had. And I sat in those community meetings. You said, you know what? Caldwell Pickney, yeah, he's one person, but we got to show up. Yes, Miss Wilhelmina Moore is one person, but we got to vote, not just vote for them, but we got to show up to these meetings and show these people within the system that they have support. Because too often what Black folks do is we vote and think that the elected official is going to be the savior and that they are going to do everything that we need them to do to improve our community. But we have to show up.
Yeah, you're right. No, I absolutely agree with you, bro. I know
we gotta show up. You just can't vote.
Yeah,
you just can't vote and just say, "Okay, I voted."
I'm playing Dr.
And so how I got involved in
what you're saying, bro.
How I got involved in politics here in Connecticut. I'm just gonna go back to my story. So, viewers, I grew up in Cross, born in the Bronx, in Harlem, moved to South Carolina at the age of 6, 7, and what my grandmother raised me from day one with 100 of my cousins. We lived in Cross, went to high school there, graduated, passed, not really with honors. And my guidance counselor told me that I wasn't made for 4-year college, that I needed to go to Trident Technical College. And I said, absolutely not. I'm going to a 4-year college. And I'm going to South Carolina State University. Miss Barnes, I don't know if you guys remember her.
Yeah.
She didn't think that I would.
I love Miss
Barnes. Make it to South Carolina State. I got in Smith. Y'all know Miss Smith. Everybody knows Miss Smith. Miss Smith and Miss Glover and Shanae Brown. Yeah. Miss Smith made sure that I filled out my FAFSA. She helped me with my FAFSA. She made sure that I went to orientation. She made sure I had my application fees because at this point, my grandmother was sick. they moved her back to New York, and the option was, do I move back to New York, leave my junior year of high school and move back to New York because everybody was moving back or do I stay in South Carolina and finish high school? And so I didn't want to move back to New York because I knew that, right, it wouldn't be good from where I saw myself going. And so I talked to Miss Smith. Miss Smith called my aunts and said, look, I'll keep an eye on him. Let him stay. She kept an eye on me for 2 years. And she looked out, I owe most of what I've been through and my success because of two people, not just two people, but a community of folks in the cross community, but particularly Miriam Smith. She's done so much for me and continue to does a lot to me, guiding and making sure that I'm grounded. And so I went off to college, was very active at South Carolina State University, majored in what I thought was I needed to major in was criminal justice, because at that point I wanted to go to law school. And so I took a political science. It was American government. And I met a professor and she was like, no, I thought that I needed to go to law school in order to be an elected official, that I needed to be a lawyer because that's what I read. And she was like, no, you don't have to be an attorney to be, you don't have to be an attorney to be a politician. And what is your major? And I was like, criminal justice, because I got a major in criminal justice in order to go
to be a lawyer.
And she was like, no, you can major in political science. And she was like, enroll in this class. I enrolled in the class. And then the very next week I changed my major from criminal justice to political science. And from there, I started the Political Science Association. I was very active. If you Google me and you Google South Carolina, angry South Carolina State student, you'll see me in a Postal Courier. You'll see me in the T&D.
That's a classic shot for him. That's really his classic shot, though, for real.
And the T&D. And what I was arguing for at South Carolina State, I started a group called Students for Change because I was a part of SGA, and how the system worked was the school paid SGA to be a part of SGA. And I was like, no, I'm not being paid to keep my mouth shut. There was some inequities happening on campus. Every year, South Carolina State at that time was supposed to be, it was coined as a school that had social mobility. So it took kids who didn't have much and were basically rocks and stones and made them jewels. And so if you were supposed to be the state institution, historically Black college, that was affordable for Black and brown kids to go to school, why are you raising tuition every single year? So I partnered with the faculty senate and I said, hold up, where's this money going? Like, you're raising tuition every year. It's making it harder for me to afford higher education. I don't know if I'm gonna be here the next semester because you're raising tuition, and I didn't see any changes on campus. So
we're not seeing new technology, not seeing new buildings, things like that.
New buildings, housing. The laundry room still got water. The basements are flooding. The bathrooms are up.
I didn't know state was shooting bad like that. Shout that for
well, at the time,
state shooting bad. State was shooting bad back in the day.
So at the time, and you know, as you grow up, you kept hearing, oh, they corrupt that South Carolina State, this and that. And
I did hear that.
Because without my alma mater, I would not be Councilman Kenneth McCLary. I just got shout out to South Carolina State. They just appointed me 40 under 40 as one of their 40 under 40 alumnus. I'm doing great work on behalf of South Carolina State University. But I want to get back to, work with the faculty senate, and I organized students, started a petition, and that's where the advocacy came from. Like, looking out for people who don't have a voice for themselves, right? Because if those folks that don't have a voice, I lived in that. I was once a person that didn't have a voice. My grandmother and my family was once a person that didn't have a voice, and I used the system. I used the public. I used the public system. I used welfare. I used WIC. I used those things. I strapped myself up, my boots straps up, and I kept pressing on. And I was I'm gonna call myself a welfare baby. And those opportunities, let me sit on with Cornel West, one of the most intellectual philosophers in American history. It had me on stage with former presidents of the United States. It had me sitting on stage with celebrities like David Banner and Farnsworth Bentley and whoever else you want to talk about. It had me sitting in rooms with former presidents of the United States of America and big policymakers and former generals. It gave me that opportunity, and I feel like it's my responsibility to advocate for the voiceless people. And I will continue to do that as long as I have breath in my mouth and my everybody, and I will not give in to the neoliberal corporate Democratic Party. I'm critical of Black folks. I'm critical of the Democratic Party, but I do recognize that in order to get anything done in this country, it has to go through the Democratic Party, because the other party, the Republican Party, they don't have an interest in Black folks and social justice.
They center and protect whiteness.
Whiteness, right?
No,
and hold on, let me finish. No, that's not general. Hold on, that's not. No,
I'm a Black Republican.
Julz, what you said?
They protect money.
But both parties protect money, right?
The Democrats and the Republicans eat together now at the banquets, don't they?
It's about who gets what and when. That's what it's all about, right?
Okay.
And so let me finish. So let me finish. So like, right, if you look at any major piece of policy in American history, and you think about what party pushed that for Black folks, think about it. It's the Democrats, right? The Republicans don't care. Hold on, let me finish.
Okay,
let me finish. You think about, right? The Republican Party is coins themselves as religious Christians, right? But think about the person.
But we supposed to have church and state,
right? Yeah, right. Think about, right. They talk about conservative judges. They talk about, when you think about below the major Dixon line, you think about evangelicals, right? Southern Christians, right? You think about Liberty University, right? You think about who the Bible Belt, right? When you think about, let's take Barack Obama compared to Donald Trump, and it's no compare. Barack Obama, when you look at his values and his beliefs, believed in most of all his values were centered around it. What Christians believe in, a family man, respectful, decent, every single thing. You got Donald Trump, who don't exhibit any of their values, and they support this man, but they fought Barack Obama at every step of the
island. But go ahead, go.
I don't agree with that, and that's a conspiracy. And
has nothing to do with what we're talking about.
Yeah,
I'm the janky Rambler. I'm a janky Rambler.
Yeah.
But you gotta relax.
Listen,
stripping,
but all right, look, it's only a few minutes left, and I just want to let Kenny have the floor. I'm gonna shut it.
And so when you think about why it's important to vote, you about Breonna Taylor, you think about George Floyd, you think about every Black and brown person who was murdered at the hands of the police, or white supremacists, or a white person. When you think about the way our kids are being educated, when you think about Julz, your family, and what's on your table, and your ability to live the lifestyle in which you want to, this election is very, very important. And you guys have some great candidates on the ballot down here in South Carolina. And what I would tell you is to make sure that you have a plan to vote. You've seen that the state Supreme Court and the district courts announced today that voters in South Carolina, in order to vote from home, that you have to have a witness. Now, we're in the midst of COVID, and in order for you, Stefan, to vote, you have to go and interact with somebody to sign as a witness that you voted. That's voter suppression. Yeah, there's a reason why. Wow. There's a reason why they put these things in place, because they do not want you to vote. You know why? Because American demographics is changing, and when change comes, a shift in power. Soon African minorities are going to be able to determine where this country goes. We're doing it now. And that's what they're afraid of. So when I hear you Jews talk about, I'm not going to vote, that's disappointing to me, because we grew up in the same communities. And if you want to talk about in New York, or if you want to talk about South Carolina, right? We grew up. We know what the plight is. We know what the struggle is. Yeah. We understand that. Guess what? You talk about the Black collective, right? Your theory about the Black collective. In order to get to the Black collective, we have to vote. We have to vote, man.
All right, let me.
Because it doesn't make sense to have a Black town with a white mayor.
Can I agree with you? Because I disagree with you a lot. Can I agree with you? One.
Yes, that's good.
In this hour, you have changed my mind, Kenny. I had a strong stance.
I was about to say the same exact shit. I'm about to
Julz, you can influence this next election for Board of Education if you want to.
I'm about to run in about 8 years. But listen, no. This is a serious point.
Okay. You and Stefan alone. Because KK is in Florida. I'm talking about in Berkeley County. There's a District 7 race, a community member, Yvonne Bradley, who lives in the community, who's been working in the community. You all know 500 people in Mounts Corner. You know people in Singaree, wherever in that district, in District 7, and Bono, St. Stephen's, Eddytown, you know young people, at least 500 young people that you can get out to the polls in a month and you will change the election. And you know what they'll say? Who got all these young? Because they're gonna look at the graphics. So they're gonna look at the data.
What's the date?
They're gonna look at the date.
What's the date?
November 3rd.
November 3rd. All us voting on November 3rd. Everybody that watches the show, we vote on November 3rd. My question to you, Kenny,
my question I had. What are you changing?
Well, registration is.
What's your focus?
So I'm gonna get to that, Stephon. But let me talk about KK. So registration, the last day for registration in South Carolina was yesterday. And so if you haven't registered to vote, you can't register to vote because they don't have same day registration. The last day was yesterday, and the last day to apply for your absentee ballot application is actually approaching soon. So if you are going to vote from home, you need to go to the Secretary of State's website in South Carolina, and you need to figure out the deadlines in which are coming up because there's some deadlines approaching in South Carolina. And so if you want to early vote, you need to go to your local election board. I think it's in Mounts Corner for folks in Cross. So I would tell you that. But to get back to your question, Stephon, about what my priorities is to make sure that my people are straight, man, and advocate for them and be the voice of reason. Because sometimes we could be a little extreme. My priority is to make sure that I leave this world a better place for my daughters, for your future kids, for your future family members, to make sure that Black and brown folks are not being killed in the streets, to make sure that we have good health care, to make sure that we have equitable jobs, to make sure that, we vote. Like this last 2 years off of city council, I think I've been more effective than I've been in my 2 years on city council. And, I'm thankful to God for him giving me the ability to still have my strength to be able to do that and not get worn down by the craziness. Because my last election, man, I had corporations, I fought against tobacco companies. I fought against big insurance companies because it was about principle. Yeah. It was about right, man. It was about you making billions of dollars and you're coming to the taxpayers, asking them for subsidies and not paying people livable wage. You're not doing anything for the community. There's no community impacts. We have parks that need to be done over. We got people, we can't keep raising taxes on people because the income is staying flat. They're not getting any raises. Like you said, the 1% is making, the trillions of dollars in this pandemic. Trillions of dollars in this pandemic, the 1%. But what can we do? We can't change that, right? Because that's a larger fight. Yeah. But what we can do is change our local communities in a way, encourage you all to continue to organize your community. Don't get discouraged. It's a long fight. If we don't do it right now, if our generation don't do it right now, who's going to do it? Who's gonna do it? You're right. Because somebody else did it for us. Right. Somebody else provided shade, a tree for us to be able to get the rights that we have. And if we don't continue to move that needle to progress to where we need to be, then I feel sorry for the next generation.
Well, hearing you say that kind of reminds me of AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Yep. But her main thing was, I'm trying to get stuff done for the brown and the Black people, but she's very specific in letting people know I'm trying to get something done for the brown community. And it was weird because it's like people fought her through it. It's like, wait, how dare you say you're trying to do something for brown people? What about us? What about us? But it's just like when white people say like, oh, I'm trying to make sure that we don't, we lower taxes for this group or I'm trying to help this group. And it's like, oh, well, we already know they will help each other out. But as soon as we say, I'm trying to help Black people, I'm trying to help brown people, it's like all of a sudden, oh, how dare you?
So guess what? Not just white folks do that, but Black folks do that. Because on city council, when I was on city council, it was the Black mayor and the Black deputy mayor who stopped try to stop me every step of the way to make sure that we had equity in policy. And now, I'm critical of them now and they get pissed off at me because 2 years ago, When I tried to put the civilian review board in place, you fought me against it. Oh, we don't have an issue now that this Black Lives Matter. Oh, we need a civilian review board. Black Lives Matter. I'm your mom, but it was you who stopped the civilian review board. We could have let the charge on that. It's you when we talk about contracts, and I wanted to change the policy to say 30% of the cash value of a contract needed to go to a true minority, not because not like these white women, because white women here in Connecticut are classified as minorities.
As minorities, exactly.
What you see is you see white men playing the system and saying, okay, I'm gonna put the company in my daughter's name and my wife's name, and they just own 51%, but I'm actually running a company, and all my wife is doing is shopping every day, and she's not showing up to the construction site. So I wanted to change the definition to a true minority of Black and brown people, and they wanted to say 30% of the jobs need to go to minorities. And me, I'm looking like, what are you doing? Yeah, they're going to put us in a low-paying job. They're going to put 30% of us in $10 an hour jobs. But when you say you got a $30 million contract and 30% of that need to go to a Black and brown person, you know what that's going to do?
That's opening jobs.
That's not just jobs, but that's saying, you know what? Shepherd's construction company now has $10 million that he's working on a contract. So now he could be a prime contractor and get his bonding. So now when Boeing says, oh, we want to build this new facility, Stefan's company can go say, you know what, I want to be the general contractor on here. And he can go to the insurance company and say, look, I have a track record of managing $10 million. So now I need you to give me $150 million so I can do this $1 billion project. And then this $1 billion project is going to give me 10% return on this project. And now what am I going to do? I'm going to go hire Stefan's brother. I'm going to go hire Stefan's best friend's uncle or cousin, and I'm going to pay him a livable wage. And then he's going to be able to, guess what? Pay his taxes. He's going to be able to build his house. He's going to be able to put dollars into the school system. He's going to be able to purchase and be a part of American society and create generational wealth for his future generation. But we cannot continue to get cynical and say that elections don't matter, because they do. There's tons of policies that you don't even see every day. And I had the privilege of being there, man, and just saying, you know what? We got to show up.
No, you
we
bro.
vote.
I was wrong.
We got to show up and hold these people accountable. If you
they say I was wrong.
I was.
And I commend you for saying that. And I don't want you to feel bad about that, because you're not the only one out there that feels this way. I'm gonna say it again. You and Stefan in your circle could change the direction in which not just Cross, but what Berkeley County is going to look like in the next 5 years. And you can have a say so. You just organize your community, just organize a show up. You know what? I would applaud you all just to show up to a city council meeting and just don't say nothing. Bring 50 of your friends and show up to a city council meeting and watch the reaction you get.
Oh, you're not coming to ask you what's going on.
You know what they're going to do? You know what they're going to do, Joels? You know what they're going to do, Joels? They're going to say, who's the leader?
They're going to run out
Who's the leader of this group?
Yeah. And next thing you know, they're reading my emails. They in my shit. I seen 24. I seen 24.
So what do you want, Julz? Do you want to so if you're so worried, if you scared of white people gonna do something to you, then you're gonna always be in this position.
No,
you're gonna live in fear for the rest of your life.
See, but KK will paint some narratives, but you go and listen. So all I'm gonna say is, listen, I'm from.
They hear you right now.
I represent.
They hear you now. So what are you worried about them reading your emails? They hear you right now. You're publishing this on YouTube, dude. They hear you now.
Man, we ain't got but 300 subscribers, man. They ain't worry about me, bro. They ain't worry about us, man. Now,
but let me tell you something.
One
of those 300 subscribers will share, and they may have 5,000 subscribers. And those 5,000 subscribers may see it, and they may share it. They may have 100,000 subscribers. So they're gonna see you regardless of what you think. So you got to change your mindset. You got to change your mindset. You have to.
It's like what Pac said. Pac said, I might not be the guy that changes the world, but I might spark the thought in the guy or the girl that's going to change the world.
Where y'all think I get this from?
So King said, I may not get to the mountaintop with you, but we'll get there. We'll get there. We'll get there.
We're on the same plight,
and so that's
brother. We got to wrap it up, but we all on the same plight. I represent the streets. You represent the office, and we got...
No, I don't represent... I represent the people.
Yeah, but you in the meetings.
There's no difference. I represent
he represents the people. He's in the meetings for us, so we don't have to go to all the meetings.
KK,
and then I come to you and I say, hey, I need your help, and then I try to give you game.
That's what I'm saying.
And I try to give you jewels to change your community. To change your community, right? Because look, Julz, you trust me. I've been there. I work the system. I'm telling you, just like AOC. Look, this shit is fucking corrupt. There's no doubt about this shit is corrupt. But how does this young generation? Because we don't believe in cliques. We don't believe in that shit. We don't believe in we want equality for everyone. We want just fairness. We don't care about all that. So how do we play their game? We get in there, we organize. We got more tools at our disposal than any of our ancestors had when they were getting major policy through the civil rights movement. And what do we get? We can't even get Black lives. We can't even get police accountability.
Right.
We can't get police accountability because you know why? Because we're a social media generation. We do shit for likes and thumbs and all that shit. Get off of social media and go vote. Get off and stop saying Black Lives Matter. Go vote and prove that Black Lives Matter. Go elect Bradley. Go help Jamie Harrison get elected. Go help Deion Tedder and North Charleston get elected. Go help Hamilton Grant and goddamn Columbia when he ran for city council, county council. Go help Chris Sumter in South Carolina. Go help Bree Maxwell. Go help Wes Bellamy. Go help Kenneth McCLARY. Go help Julz. Go help Stefan. Go help KK. You got people out there doing the work.
That's true.
You have a platform. You have and I don't want y'all to feel like I'm preaching to y'all. I've been there, yo. I've been there, and I'm telling you, we can change this. We can change our community. We gotta use our platform, right? Yes. To do what we can get the Black Wall Street that you talk about, because that's all you're talking about, Julz. You talk about the Black collective. Right. That's all you're talking about. Right. You want us to be owners, but how do we get there? By putting these elected officials and making sure that their policies on the books. Look at the books that's behind me. Yo, look at them. This book right here, I'm critical of our leaders. We have no African-American leaders post 1965. This is a critique on Black leadership. I'm not just saying that we all good in our community and people in our community is doing because we got some piss poor Black leaders. The NAACP, look, we go bigger than that. NAACP,
man, y'all
the Urban League.
Listen, y'all.
And you don't want me to get there, right? Because they're not holding people accountable because now they are tied to the corporations, Comcast.
I think some people forget, like, it wasn't just Malcolm. It wasn't just Martin. It wasn't just Rosa. It took multiple people doing different things in order to get there. And I think sometimes people have this idea that only one way will get us there. But really, it's like we have to collectively decide, you're going to do this? Yeah. Okay, great. Okay, we're trying to build Black Wall Street. Great. But we need somebody to also be able to defend Black Wall Street. So we need y'all to go ahead and go get your guns and go ahead and live by that Second Amendment. Okay, great. And then we need you to go over here and just be, our elected officials. And we need you to go over here. Oh, we need teachers. Yeah. Okay, we need you to teach the students. And I feel like people.
And we need Julz to go to the streets and get the people on the corner who I can't necessarily reach. But Julz, here's how you educate them. Here's the facts that you need to tell them on why it's important for them to get off the corner so they can be protected, right? So the same police officers that put them in jail for smoking marijuana and selling marijuana and trying to take their families, and now they're trying to decriminalize it all across America to make profits off of it while we were being incarcerated. Okay, you want to decriminalize marijuana and make it legal now? Now you got to give us some reparations. So we talk about reparations, but how do you get to the reparations? Through public policy when they try to
let's go.
Right? Period. Right. So to start doing, Julz. And so that's why it's important to vote, because then you got somebody like me who believes in reparation. But when you talk about reparations, white folks go crazy. Oh, we got to pay Black folks for enslaving them. No. You know how we do it? All right, your revenue, your taxes, we're going to get $2 billion in revenue and taxes on marijuana. We need $50 million to go to that towards social services, because guess who has PTSD for being in prison? Yeah. Oh, we need another 100 million of that to go towards our schools, so now we can educate people. Now we need another 150 of that to create entrepreneurship, because now you're going to disproportionately affect the Black and brown people who are on the black market selling marijuana, because guess what? Those people who are in the black market selling marijuana, they're paying their mother's light bill. They're paying their mom's rent. They're paying their mortgages. And so as much as you hate black and brown people for selling marijuana, guess who's benefiting from it? The white elite and corporations. Because guess what? We're paying our bills.
I feel like we've been disproportionately oppressed, and we need to be disproportionately uplifted.
Oh yeah,
Shifty,
oh yeah.
Me,
and how do you get?
We got another guest, Shifty.
And KK, you know how you get there? Through public policy, because you know how they disproportionately affected us through white rage. And when you look at white rage was in the state houses and the courthouses and in the city halls and these boardrooms. And so you know how we change that? Through motherfucking public policy, through the CEOs, getting more black CEOs in position. We gotta, you're spot on, Shifty, about we just can't be monolithic and say, okay, we gotta do it this one way. We have to do it in multiple sectors. And so I'm gonna close with that. And I just want to say, because I know you got another guest, I want to say thank you. I'm so honored for you to think of me to be a part of your platform.
Absolutely.
And just reach out anytime.
Enjoying this, boy.
For sure. Yeah, please tell us tell people how they can find you.
I'm on social media, on Instagram at Political Junkie, Facebook, Kenneth L. McCLARY.
Uh-oh. What happened just now? Kenny McCLARY, you good?
It's okay. We're going to definitely have to bring him back because he's dropping a lot of jewels, and hopefully he'll, he's back.
Snapchat at Political Junkie.
Word. All right, Political Junkie.
How to organize your community. I've been there. And I'm letting you know I'm letting you know the game, right? And don't forget to vote on November 3rd. Whether you vote Republican or you vote Democrat, it determines who gets what and how, and it's your voice. And if you don't do it, you can't articulate your voice. Oh, and fill out the census, because that's also important. If you didn't fill out your census, fill out your census, because it determines who gets what. It's how they draw congressional districts and show your representation. It's how police, fire, healthcare get funded. Fill out your census. And that's all I have for you this evening. Again, thank you, KK. Thank you, Stefan. And thank you, Joel, for inviting me.
Thank you. No, thank you.
You coming back. You got to come back, man.
Anytime.
All right, Kenny, man.
All right. Thank you all.
Bro. Thank you. All right.
No problem. Good evening. Have a good night.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to end this pod and save it to the YouTube page, and then we'll be right back. So just take a quick 5-minute break, and when we come back, we'll be podding with our Miami guests on a brand new pod on the same channel. So we're going to go from episode 54 to episode 55. I know Blue Johnson is probably pissed right now, so we don't want to keep the streets waiting any longer. I'm out, but yeah, y'all go vote November 3rd.